we're asking where you've been all morning. We've been sitting here all morning looking for you.
Thank you so much. Tommy, you didn't notice?
No, I don't notice anything. I only noticed one thing. What do you think I noticed? I noticed that, don't I? I notice when I feel like people are slipping. I noticed that. What did you say, Cameron? Why are you talking to yourself over there?
Hey, I was working late last night.
Doing what?
Talking to this Spanish guy named Raimundo. He really wants a house.
What's the man's name?
Raimundo.
What does that have to do with today?
Late?
What's late?
9 to me.
Maybe we got to get a little tougher. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Grind. 60 seconds of gratitude is how we start every show. But before we get into that, like, comment, and share the stream. We have a light audience in here today. Good morning, Remy, Jacob Fries, Daniel Hodges. I'm very grateful last night. I brought back my show straight from the gut. Did you?
Yeah, that was good.
Did you really like it? What was one of your takeaways?
The fact that you, like most leaders, you don't see them being vulnerable, and I feel like you were like just expressing how you really feel. I feel like most leaders they'll act like they won't like show that side of them. So
Why do you think they do that? Are they have a fear?
they,
Like, I mean,
yeah, they want everybody,
ego.
Yeah, they want everybody to think that they're.
Well, a lot of the people, good morning, Daniel Hodges, go Irish. Daniel, you're a leader. Are you honest with your people, or do you try to show them the rugged, tough side? I think no matter what you say, people can sense what you think. So even if I'm not telling y'all, hey, I'm a little concerned right now, you would still sense it. You would still know it. So I would rather go ahead and just put it out there and we can talk about it. Last night on my other page, my personal page, I used to do this show. It was called Straight from the Gut, where I was really just sharing things straight. Was it raw? Was it real? And that's the whole purpose of it. Brutally honest with them. Even if you're scared of stuff, are you brutally honest with them, Daniel, or do you try to hide anything? Were you on there last night?
On what?
You were talking to that Mexican dude, weren't you?
Yeah.
We didn't find you last night. So I'm thankful that my wife actually taught me into doing that. So I'm glad I did it. And it really, I was talking to Van. I called Van last night and he was drunk, drinking wine. And he said something. He said, I think you feel better after you have your little confessions when you say it. So to be honest with you, I do feel a lot better after having that discussion, after getting that off my chest. I feel better, even though I really am concerned about what's going on with our economy and our real estate market. But I don't think we're going into trouble. I think we're just going into, like, if we're a boat or if we're an airplane. I hate to fly. If we're an airplane, we'd be going through a lot of turbulence. Planes don't crash because of turbulence. They just bounce around and you're miserable. The stewardess can't get up and can't give you a drink. That's what we're about to go through. Yes, I used to not be that way, but I got where I am. Just don't care what others say. That's the other thing. What Daniel's saying, I'm going to say this, and I'm not worried about the judgment, what everybody says. So today what I'm talking about, how did I label today's show, Van Grotten? This is something we need to be talking about, is right now, with rates going up, is it actually a better time to buy a house? So people make decisions based off what they can make sense of doing. If they can't make sense of it, they'll be like, I'm not going to do that. So you're going to have to use a lot of logic right now for people to understand and believe right now it actually makes sense to buy. So we've talked about this a few times, but I believe to hear something and know it, it takes a lot of repetition. You got to hear it over and over and over again. Does anybody here know why now may actually be a better time to buy than when rates were at 3.5% to 4%? Can anybody give me one reason why right now, logically, not emotionally, but so I can make sense of things with logic? We'll start with this man over here.
I think because inventory is going up, you have a better chance of finding a house that checks all the boxes, rather than in the previous past you're having to kind of make a decision on something that doesn't fit all your needs.
Oh, okay. Hayden says this. Buyers getting more leverage as market shifts a little bit. Okay, Travis, can you think of one reason?
That's what I was going to roll with the closing cost and the home appraisal gap and stuff like that being taken care of now rather than before. You was just taking a chance and throwing all your cash that you had at hand out the window. And now you're gonna be able to get
Bless you.
less cash at hand. I think it's huge.
My buddy Shannon Lehue says it removes less qualified buyers out there. So if you're one of the few, if you're a qualified buyer that's left out there, you're not competing against others. That's kind of what y'all both are saying. You, new girl, can you think of one reason why now, today?
Yeah, I guess it would be like usually there's a lot of multiple offers and a lot of anxiety going into buying a home. So I think this.
We'll give you credit. That's along with, it's all kind of, I'm looking for some more stuff. Can you come up with something?
Somebody was talking about yesterday about having to have less money up front and put less money down now.
Yeah, who said that?
I think it was you that said
Well, why didn't you say you said that yesterday? Shit, where's my credit?
it. It was you.
But that kind of goes along with what he was saying too. That let's just say if you saved up money, all your money now has to go towards this. So what it would look like, let's say you're buying a $400,000 house, and to get it, you might have to go to $440,000. Did we see those kind of offers out there? You may have to go $40,000 above the list price to get it, and that extra $40,000, if it doesn't appraise, may actually come out of your pocket. You're also paying all your closing costs. Whenever the market shifts like this, maybe sellers are going to participate a little bit more in the market. Maybe they'll have some concessions, like they will allow you to do a home inspection. They'll allow you to keep the appraisal contingency. You know, a lot of offers out there. I don't know how this is going to go because there still may be a lot of cash offers out there. But the big thing is maybe they'll even pay a little bit of your closing costs. Instead of you having to come up with your down payment and your closing costs. It could be $25,000, $30,000. And like Travis was saying, all your money is gone. Well, now maybe you just got to put FHA amount of 3.5% down into the deal. The rate is going to be a little bit higher, but at least you've got money. Now, I've got to give my buddy Dan Elam. Somebody tag Dan Elam. I'll tag him. Dan Elam. Damn, it won't let me tag you, Dan. I don't know why that is. At Dan. We're going to get Elam. I'm going to Dan. All right. Sorry about the interruption, but I'm gonna give Dan Elam this credit yesterday. He was talking to his people, and if you've ever talked to Dan is a very, very, very smooth wordsmith. When he's talking to you, he talks everything, every sentence, everything he tells you, it's broken down to where you understand it, where you can make sense. So he was going through there, and he was letting them tell the story of what it was like working with a buyer that was buying a house for $400,000. That was the number. That was the exact scenario he used. And he would ask them, well, how much did you have to go over? Then, you know, it's just the same little exercise I was doing with you guys. And then he just made this very profound point. If you were to pay $440,000 for a house, and then like 2 years later, could you go back and renegotiate that sales price with that seller? Why? Good morning, Wendy Swinney from sunny Destin. So what?
It's already been done.
It's already over. You can't undo it. It's done. You can't unscramble scrambled eggs. Okay. I thought, okay, where are you going? He said, but you can go back and renegotiate your rate. Damn, that was good. Dan Elam, that was magnificent. I stole your shit. What does that mean? You can go back and renegotiate your rate. Let's ask Van. Let's see if Van knows what I'm talking about. You cannot go back to the seller and say, dude, you ripped me off. I want to renegotiate. Give me a refund, bitch. Probably can't do that. Van, how can you renegotiate your interest rate? You can do a refi. Does that make sense? Do you know what a refi is?
Not really.
All right, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Van, will you tell everybody in here what a refinance is?
Well, I mean, you renew your loan, and you can get a lower interest rate. Say you got your loan at $200,000, it's at 6%, and you can go back in when the interest rates go down and say, okay, I'm gonna re-up this loan, you start over, but you have a lower rate, and so your monthly payment is less.
Does that make sense? So today, the people, let's say you've got an interest rate of 6.125%. And they're going to continue to raise rates. And let's say they continue to go up, the mortgage rates continue to go up a little bit. But then to speed the economy back up, the Fed starts lowering rates. And eventually the long-term rates, the mortgage rates will start to go down a little bit. You can refi as many times as you want. So if you're at 6.125%, then the rates come down. You still love the house. Then rates come back down to 4.125. You can go back in there and you might whack out $200 or $300 a month. Okay? You can't renegotiate price, but you can renegotiate your loan. It happens all the time. It's probably not going to happen as much in this environment, but it is still going on. And if you have any questions about your loans, hey, call this guy. Shane Leahy, renegotiating your interest rate at a time when they are lower. That's exactly right. You just go back in there and you're like, hey, man, I want to refi this. My rate's too high. They're raping me. Okay.
It goes both ways too. Like if that's stopping somebody from buying because of the interest rate, I think they can make sense of buying a dream home for that $200 to $300 extra a month.
Yeah, but it's just a temporary thing. The rates are going to come back down. But here's something else. What I believe with I'm going to end the show on this. With these low inventories, it's going to keep prices stabilized. They're not going to come down. So a lot of people I see, they hear high interest rates and they start saying stuff like it's going to crash. Have you heard anything about a housing crash? Well, they're saying this from a state of ignorance. They don't know. They just assume. Last time, you'll hear people talking about high interest rates in 2008. Well, I was one of those people that had what was called an adjustable rate mortgage. These rates, see today, if you were to buy a house and it's 6%, you qualified today to get your 6% rate. As long as everything stays the same, you're going to be fine. 2006, 5. My credit wasn't great, so they would have a product for me, but it was an adjustable rate mortgage where it may have started off at 6%, but because I wasn't qualified like I am today, they would say, okay, Mr. Davidson, here's what we can do. First off, you're pre-approved. Okay, I didn't even think I'd get pre-approved, but here's what's going to happen. After 2 years, we've got to adjust your rate. Okay, so those rates kept going up. So my payments on one of my houses went from $736 over 2 years to like $1150. I was broke as hell. So those things led to a lot of defaults because I qualified today at that rate. I would not have qualified for the later rate as it adjusted. Are you following what I'm saying? None of that stuff's going on right now. It's your people have been qualifying. I don't even know if there's any of those adjustable rates out there today. Over the last 3 years, I'm surprised at how many people have actually conditioned themselves to save enough money to where they've got a down payment money and also their closing costs. Whenever you're talking to people, they've got to pay their own closing costs. They're not financing any of that in there. Back then, people didn't have shit. We were doing 100% loans. Did you even know that was possible? Did you? Back in those days, as a matter of fact, my adjustable rates were 100%. I didn't have $1 in these deals. I didn't have $1 in 327 Indian Park Drive. I still own that place. Not $1. Okay? And my payment, I didn't pay any closing costs, nothing. I want you to think about how ridiculous that was. And I probably bought 5 or 6 homes like that, but today you're not buying them like that. So from $736, $750, then it goes up to $1,100 a month. I really, Hayden, what's your question? How is that? I don't know what you're asking. Are you asking about the 100% deals? That's how crazy the market was back then, where people were like, housing's always going to go up. Most of our deals, 30% of our deals, 35% of our deals were no money down deals. Think about it. If you got if I can buy a house with no money. Back then, people were so aggressive to try to get business. They got so risky. These investors would say, "Man, I'll give you a loan." Let me tell you what else. I bought this house. Man, it was a big house. I was 33 years old. It was out in Harvest Grove, which is Harvest Woods. And they had these programs that were called stated income loans. Do you know what that meant? Probably don't. Just like a credit card. You know, they ask your credit card, what do you make? They don't verify it. You ever notice that, Van? I make $2 million. Okay. But you could tell your loan officer, well, I'm a school teacher, but I've got another business. I make $200,000 a year. Okay. They would qualify you off your stated amount as long as you had a decent credit score. As long as your debt to income didn't get out of whack. So we're in such a different time. And I've seen people make a lot of mistakes over the last 3 years because they didn't buy a house because they were waiting on prices to come down. What happened? But I see, hello, Benny the Kid. Thank you for getting on here finally. A lot of people didn't buy because they were waiting for prices to come down, but they lost their interest rates. Well, now there's going to be more variety of you to get a house you'd like, one you'd really want to live in. And to be honest, I don't know if it's really going to be any more money out of your pocket than what it was last year. Because the past year, you had to put all that money up front. You had to pay your own closing costs. You had to overcome appraisal shortages. You also didn't get to do the old home inspection, no telling how much money that made you. Remy, it felt good to not to have to bring money to the table in 2009 and 2010. Amen, sister. Von Grot to shut us down. Stay cool, friends, because it's going to be hot as hell out there.